Coming up, it's our final recap of basketball season. We'll show you all UIL and TAPS championship games involving teams from the North Texas area. Also, they didn't win their district, but in the end, the Allen Eagles claimed the biggest prize of all. Plus, the Plano girls join us in the studio to discuss their first ever state title.
This is the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.
One last week of hoops coverage tonight. It's our final recap of championship games for UIL and TAPS. Hello, everyone. I'm Jonah Javad. Most schools are back in session Monday after being off for spring break. Before the holiday, though, UIL boys basketball teams were on their way to the state tournament in San Antonio. And tomorrow, some will return to class as state champions. The Allen Eagles played Katy Tompkins in last Saturday's 6A championship. First finals appearance for both schools. Tompkins takes an early lead. Emmanuel White inside for the bucket. Tompkins with its biggest lead at 7. Allen cuts it to a three-point game at the half, and we move on to the fourth. Jalen Walker hits the three for Allen. Tie game. How about the final seconds of regulation? Game still tied. Jalen Scott with a chance to win it, but it's blocked. The Eagles able to keep the ball in bounds outside to Walker. He shoots the three just off the mark. We go to overtime. Under a minute to play in OT. Allen with a 1-point lead. Oklahoma signee Jamal Bienemi finds Eden Holt. Knocks down the triple. The Falcons go up 2. Allen ties the game with 2 clutch free throws by Walker. And then Tompkins with a chance for the final shot in overtime. Allen gets the turnover. Jalen Walker to Donovan Parham. Easy breakaway. And the Allen Eagles get a basketball title to go along with the football title they won just a few months ago. Allen wins 49-47 in overtime. How about that Class 5A state championship? Justin Northwest against Port Arthur Memorial. Northwest cruising in this one. Mason Hicks, 3 of his game-high 27 points. Northwest up double digits at 1 point. 4-star recruit Avery Anderson making some nice plays, but foul trouble sends Anderson to the bench. And Memorial comes storming back, outscoring Northwest 30-19 in the fourth quarter, and that turns out to be the difference. Memorial taking the lead for the first time in the game and holding on to win its first state championship. Great season for Northwest, though. However, they fall in the title game, 75-69. The 4A final was an instant classic. The Carter Cowboys taking on defending champ Silsbee from the Houston area. An offensive display. Carter shoots 58% from the field, 60% from three-point land, 50-46 Silsbee at the half. Back and forth game. Cowboys with a touchdown pass to Zahad Mumford here. Carter with a 3-point lead with 3.5 minutes left to play, but Devin McCain was cooking. 39 points. He gets the bucket plus the foul here, and Silsbee goes on to beat Carter 104-101. An incredible state championship contest. Class 3A, Bowie against Mount Vernon, a low-scoring game. Kason Pletcher carrying the weight for Mount Vernon, 16 of the team's 28 points, including 8 of 8 from the free throw line, but the Mosley brothers lead the way for Bowie. Number 22, Gary Mosley, a senior. Number 33, Daniel Mosley. He's a junior. Final high school game together. Daniel Mosley scores 17 of Bowie's 32 points, along with a game-high 10 rebounds. Gary Mosley right behind with 9 boards, including 5 on the offensive glass. Bowie prevails in a close one, 32-28 to win the Class 3A state title. First state championship in boys basketball for Bowie in 44 years. And one more local team playing for a title, Lipan taking on Nazareth in Class 1A. The semifinals, Lipan set a 1A tournament record for three-pointers made with 16. This is a flashback to it. But in the championship game, Lipan couldn't buy a 3. 1 for 10 from beyond the arc in the first half. Nazareth up 1 at the break, but here comes Lipan. Little more than 2 minutes into the third, Bryce Shockley buries the team's only 2-pointers of the second half, and the Indians take the lead. 14 points for Shockley. Santana Martinez has 4 steals for Lipan. He also chips in 14 points. Great name, and what a great time for Lipan. The Indians hang on in crunch time, 49-42, to win the Class 1A state championship. Congratulations to all the teams from North Texas who participated in this year's UIL Boys Basketball Championships. Big seasons all around. But the Allen Eagles took everyone by surprise by first winning their region, then state. Mike Leslie has more in this week's Spotlight, presented by Texas Scottish Rite Hospital for Children.
It's a run out. It's a play the boys at Allen will never forget.
I saw Donnie and Isaiah running down the court. That's when I was like, man, we're state champs right here, right now.
A state title winning layup.
After Jay Walk got the rebound, he said he saw me. My eyes were like wide open.
Allen wins it.
State titles at Allen are nothing out of the ordinary. Football and wrestling each have one this year as well. But for the first time, the basketball program gets to add one to their collection.
Which helps explain this.
Somebody said we were number 2, but we're number 1.
We've been the underdogs for like the whole season, and people have been doubting us all season, but we knew as a team that we could go far.
To be able to prove it with this medal, it feels really good.
But there's another element of the play they won't forget either.
I kept on watching it, I keep seeing Coach do this.
Coach Jeff McCullough running stride for stride with Donovan Parham.
The NFL has called and invited me to the combine after seeing the 4.29 40 speed.
But that sprint led to quite the moment.
Shot the layup with him. I was fist pumping, and I look, and standing right in front of me, sitting on the front row, was my high school coach, my mentor, the guy that gave me my first ever job in the coaching world, the guy that convinced me to be a high school coach, was standing right there. And to be able to look him in the eye in that moment and high-five him and watching the tears start welling up in his eyes, just an amazing moment.
A moment for a clear-cut number 1. Mike Leslie, Channel 8 Sports, Allen.
And that's our look back at UIL boys basketball. The girls are next as we highlight more championship action. Plus, we'll hear from the 6A champs from Plano Senior High School next on the Chevy High School Sports Special. Welcome back to the Chevy High School Sports Special, where we continue to highlight UIL basketball championships featuring teams from the DFW area. Plano playing in the 6A final against Converse Judson. Judson leading at halftime, and in the third quarter, the bucket by Desiree Lewis makes it a 10-point game. Plano trailed by as many as 12 in this one, but in the fourth quarter, Lolo Davenport gets the Wildcats back within 2, 50-48. Plano would then take the lead twice in the final 92 seconds on free throws from Jordan Merritt and Lolo Davenport. Plano takes the lead for good with just over a minute remaining, and Plano hangs on to win its first girls basketball championship, 62-58, the final. Mansfield Timberview playing Amarillo High in the 5A championship game. Timberview jumping out to a 7-point lead in the first quarter when Michaela Hutchinson gets 2 of her team-high 12 points for the Lady Wolves. They would lead by as many as 9, but it's tied at 32 late in the third quarter when Timberview goes in front again after the turnover. Denasia Collins to Destiny Jackson, giving Timberview a 2-point lead. Timberview up 1 in the fourth, but Amarillo's Ashlyn Milton hits this three-pointer to grab the lead and never look back. Milton getting a game-high 17 as Amarillo hits 10 three-pointers on 20 attempts to beat Timberview 59-54 in the 5A title game. In Class 4A, Argyle going for its 4th state title in a row. Fast start against San Antonio Veterans Memorial. Senior forward Gabby Standifer taking aim from beyond the arc. It's good as Argyle jumps out to a 7-0 lead. Then second quarter, freshman guard Sydney Standifer, Gabby's sister, driving to the basket, making it a 3-point play after drawing the foul. Sydney Standifer, a freshman, scoring 22 points to lead Argyle, and Riley McKinney, a sophomore, adding 20 as the Lady Eagles maintain a double-digit lead over the final 3 quarters. They get their 4th title in a row, 60-41, the final. Argyle building a dynasty in girls basketball, while Plano makes history by winning a state title for the first time. After claiming this year's 6A championship in San Antonio, Plano head coach Rodney Belcher and his team visited our studio and talked to our colleague, Joe Trahan.
Thanks for having us, Joe. Coach, let me start with you. And this group obviously has a championship DNA. Tell me what they're like and how they were able to pull it off.
First of all, they're a very talented, vibrant group of young ladies. They have fun all the time. They show up for practice with a smile on their face every morning, and they just get after it. There are lots of music in the morning while we're practicing and high-fiving and dancing, and So they're just a close-knit group of young ladies, and they enjoy playing basketball together.
Yeah, there is a lot of energy that is in your group. You don't have to be around them very long to understand that and to know what that means for this group. So let's talk a little bit more about that as we begin to meet four of your senior leaders. Katie Farrell's a senior point guard. And Katie, from what I understand, you're the ringleader, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that a good way to put it? So I understand you guys, you know, the way you go about your business is in this light and fun-loving way, but you still know how to work when it's time for that. Tell me how you guys go about doing it.
Yeah, so I think our whole team is just kind of silly personality, and the whole year we just wanted to have fun while we were playing basketball, because at the end of the day it's all about having fun. But at the end of the day we knew when we needed to go to work, and because we have the talent to do it. So at the end of the day we were silly, but we knew when to focus up.
Yeah, and in terms of having fun like that, I understand that if you've been together for a long time, and I know a lot of you, especially seniors in this group, have had long-standing relationships. Tell me just how far some of those friendships on this team go back.
Oh yeah, some of us have been playing back since 3rd grade together, so coming in we knew each other, we knew the personality types, and you know, we love each other. This is kind of like a family, our whole team. So I think being together for that long was a big help in us winning the state championship.
Yeah, fun, family, chemistry, yeah, those are all parts of championship DNA. Up next, let's meet Emma Halverson. She's a senior forward. And Emma, you guys were down 10 points in the second half of a state championship game, but still managed to find a way to win that ball game. The mental toughness that takes is exacting and incredible, and I'm curious, how do you guys go about building up that mental toughness?
Well, Joe, I think it all starts in practice. Every day we come out, work as hard as we can, and it really shows in our game and just how hard we work in practice.
Well, Emma, now first of all, Emma, you get a gold star because whenever you mention the interviewer by name, that's always perfect when you do these situations. But I do want to press you a little bit further. Tell me just how tough the practices are and how much they prepared you for those big game situations.
Well, they're really tough. We have to run every day almost, and it really shows how hard we work, and it conditions us for the game, and if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be able to play as hard as we do now. And
I got to tell you what, that hard work certainly paid off for you guys in grand fashion. All right, up next we want to meet Lolo Davenport. She's a senior, she's a guard. And Lolo, Katie mentioned something earlier. She mentioned the talent that you guys have, and obviously that talent came together this season as you guys marched towards your championship. What was it about this year that allowed you guys to galvanize and be the best you could be?
Well, this year a lot of people had to step up, and we had roles to play. There was a few times key players and not really key, but like players were out, and everyone had to certain people had to step up, and that's what we did.
And when you do that as a group, and you see your teammate making that play and making sure that they're in the right place and they play that right role, how does that affect the entire team and help you guys be the best you can be?
I feel that it motivates us because we know, like, if one's playing hard, that we try to match that person's energy, and it like brings out the best in all of us.
Yeah, you guys were certainly motivated, especially when you guys forged that incredible comeback late in the state championship game. It was certainly fun to watch. Which brings us to Sophie Flatus, who's a senior guard. Now, Sophie, the horn ends. The horn sounds, the game ends after you guys have been down double digits. You make this incredible rally to win a state championship. It's got to be one of the best feelings you've ever felt. Take me inside what it was like.
Well, I agree, Joe, with the amazing feeling, because it was such an overwhelming feeling for all of us. Just seeing the excitement in our faces and our fans, how proud they were of us. It just really shows all year how we've been working so hard for this, and I just really think no one really believes in us except for our fan base and the kids at our school. And I think we just proved everyone wrong, and that feeling that, okay, we actually did it and accomplished it. It was just really great.
Yeah, you guys did prove a lot of people wrong. I know obviously you went through Duncanville and won that regional championship to get to state. But let me follow up with this. Knowing that you were able to prove all those people wrong, what was that feeling like amongst your basketball family and all the other ladies on this team?
I just think it was a really happy feeling because I don't know, we've been working hard for 4 years together, and I think me being at my senior year and all of us that have just talked our senior year, it really helps us because it's all we've been working for, and I just feel last year it was just I don't know, we just didn't finish the way we wanted to, and I think this year coming out and beating Duncanville and beating all those hard teams and then finally finishing it was just I don't know, it was just like amazing feeling, I guess.
Yeah, it must have been amazing, and you guys did figure out a way to cap it off in style. Coach, before I let you go, I want to ask you about the history-making moment that you guys had with this being the first ever state championship in girls basketball at Plano. We know there's a rich tradition of athletic prowess at your school. So what does it mean to get it done in girls basketball?
Well, previous to me, Coach Gary Wilson, way back, started the program in the right direction, and Coach Lynn Meager came behind Coach Wilson, and Coach Meager is a young lady who hired me. She was the head coach for 24 years. I was with her for 8 years. She retired. I took over. I've been the head coach now for 4 years, and just it's been a long tradition of winning basketball on the ladies' side in Plano, and the championship was for everybody who's been a part of our program and the history of our program. So these young ladies lay their hearts and souls out every day in practice and throughout the games, and they stuck together. And we were fortunate to come out as state champions this year. And this championship is, like I say, for the entire community in Plano, Plano ISD, and for all the previous young ladies who've been a part of Lady Wildcat basketball.
It's tremendous, and we love it, especially when all that hard work pays off and you get to show off the hardware and spend some time with us. So we appreciate it. That's head coach Rodney Belcher and the state champion Plano Wildcats. Hey, you guys, you did a fantastic job tonight. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
That was Joe Trahan's interview with the 6A state champion Plano Lady Wildcats. Congrats again to Coach Rodney Belcher and his entire program, and thanks for stopping by. More state championship action still to come. We'll recap the TAPS games next on the Chevy High School Sports Special. The Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools crowning their champions in West Texas this year. District rivals Bishop Lynch and Parish Episcopal playing in the 6A girls final. Parish has never defeated Lynch, but it was Parish jumping out to the early lead. Navaje Tots pull-up jumper gives the Panthers a 7-point lead. They go up by as many as 8 in the second quarter. This is Todd again there with the layup. 2 of her game-high 23 points for Parish Episcopal. Bishop Lynch would get 24 points from India Rogers, though, and the Lady Friars would make it a 1-point game by halftime. We go to the fourth quarter now, and Lynch takes a 1-point lead on the bucket by Jada Thomas, but Parish retakes the lead in the final minute on a pair of free throws from Todd, who was 12 for 12 from the line. Parish Episcopal stuns Bishop Lynch in the TAPS 6A championship, 61-56 the final. Cedar Hill Trinity Christian School playing Houston Second Baptist for the 5A boys championship in TAPS. Close game in the fourth quarter when Trinity Christian gets it tied. Tyreek Smith scoring with authority to knot it at 55. Tied at 57 in the final minute. Second Baptist playing for the last shot when Max Modica buries the three-pointer. Trinity Christian wouldn't have an answer, and Houston Second Baptist beats the Tigers 60-57. In the TAPS 4A final, Arlington Grace Prep and the Woodlands Christian Academy playing in the boys championship. Another close one with Grace Prep trailing in the final minute. Miles McCrary scores the final 4 points of regulation to tie the game. So we go to OT where Grace Prep trails again in the final seconds, and that's when Jordan Phillips drives it to the hole to tie the game. We go to a second overtime. In double OT, the Woodlands Christian Academy goes up 5, and this time Grace Prep wouldn't catch up. The Lions come up short, 79-76. In the TAPS 4A Girls Championship, Lake Country Christian going up against Austin Brentwood Christian. Lake Country jumps out to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter on a floater from Morgan Campbell. Brentwood would come back to take a 1-point lead early in the second quarter before Lake Country starts to pull away. Madison Cawley scoring on the break, part of a 15-1 run. Lake Country up 10 at the half, more points off the turnover here for the Lady Eagles in the third quarter. McKenna Whites going end-to-end for the layup, and Lake Country Christian goes on to win by 25, claiming the 4A title 44-19 over Brentwood Christian. TAPS 1A now, DeSoto Canterbury Episcopal in the championship game against San Antonio Legacy Christian. Second quarter, Bianca Arrington takes aim at a wide-open 3. It's good, and Canterbury leads by 4. Legacy Christian ties it by halftime. But in the third, Canterbury starts building that lead. Viencia Jackson getting the putback basket. She and Arrington both scoring 14 points for Canterbury. They led by 9 before Legacy cut it to 1 in the fourth. But that's as close as it got in the final quarter. Canterbury wins it 53-49. In the TAPS 1A boys final, Granbury North Central Texas Academy facing San Antonio Legacy Christian for the title. North Central Texas looking to win for the 5th straight year, and Carlos Medina scores the first 5 points in this one, including the 3. Another 3 in the second quarter. This one by Marko Kovacevic, giving the team from Granbury an 11-point lead. Legacy Christian closed the gap to 4 before halftime, but in the third quarter, North Central Texas on a 14-2 run. They ride that momentum to another state title. Pioneers win 67-50. Once again, congratulations to all the local teams who took part in their respective basketball championships. Still to come, a former North Texas standout is now part of one of the biggest stories in the NCAA tournament. We'll have his story next. Stay with us.
Now, here's your Chevy Team of the Week, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
Just as we did throughout basketball season, we will continue naming Chevy Teams of the Week throughout the rest of the school year, starting next week when we begin our soccer coverage. Be sure to catch it every Sunday night here on the Chevy High School Sports Special. For those of us closely following the NCAA tournament, especially here in Dallas, Loyola Chicago has emerged as a Cinderella story, and for one of its players, a former Kennedale star, it's been a dream come true, so close to home. News 8's Monica Hernandez has more.
If there were ever a reason to get goosebumps,
downtown Dallas on a beautiful Thursday,
living out your childhood dream inside the American Airlines Center is definitely one.
I dreamed about it a lot, but no, I did not think I would.
Jackson, the Dallas kid back in his hometown.
Andre Jackson, number 24, a senior forward at Loyola, back in North Texas.
Every kid who loves basketball dreams about being in the NCAA tournament, and it's just great being able to do it back home.
Back home on a national stage. A long way from his days at Kennedale High School, class of 2014.
I played with my brother a lot, and then the friends, we would go to the park and just work on our games, just practice, be very competitive.
Their first NCAA tournament victory in 33 years.
It's a great feeling. Before the game, I had so many people text me telling me they're proud of me and they'll be watching the game.
But he thought of one in particular when he found out he'd be here.
Pick up the phone, call Mom. I picked the phone and called her. I told her I was coming back home to play. She was going to be able to watch me.
Jackson.
There are moments he'll never forget, like this rebound and this charge, and that stunning win against Miami.
One timeout, they don't take it.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. That last shot by Dante was amazing. It was crazy.
And that was the moment in an arena filled with people. He saw just a few.
After the game, when I waved at my family now, they used to give me thumbs up, just screaming.
Hustle by Andre Jackson.
And number 24 isn't done yet.
Just stay focused on what your goal is and continue doing that.
So what is your goal?
Winning it all.
Monica Hernandez, Channel 8 News.
Our own Monica Hernandez catching up with Andre Jackson after Loyola's first round game at the American Airlines Center. The Ramblers won both of their games here in Dallas in buzzer-beating fashion, and now they move on to the Sweet 16. Time for us to move on to soccer coverage. Next week, we'll highlight district races on the pitch as playoff time approaches. So until then, thanks for watching the Chevy High School Sports Special. I'm Jonah Javad. We'll see you next week. Good night.
This has been the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.